Hi girls, welcome back to another episode of Girls Like Me. Today we have a really special guest on the podcast. Today we have Mackyla. Say hi, Mackyla.
Hello.
Mackyla, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you, who you are, what you do.
Yeah, so I'm going to be really awkward to start, but my name's Mackyla.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
I know, my mum and dad picked the most difficult name. Well, it's not the most difficult name, but
I'll always remember
it looks
that
like
now,
Mackyla. So everyone calls me it, but that is fine. So yeah, I'm Mackyla.
Mackyla, I love that.
Yeah, from Leicester originally.
Yeah.
And I own Ivory Nest Studios in Leicester. But I also work full time as well. What else do you want to know?
So before you started Ivory Nest, which is your content studio, which is absolutely beautiful, by the way, girls, what was kind of your thought process like? Did you know that was something that you wanted to do, or you just thought like, I'm going to do it?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a long-winded journey, to be honest. So when I was doing my master's degree at Coventry University, it was in business and organisational psychology. So I kind of knew that I wanted to have a business, and I was interested in business operations and things like that. So after I graduated, I moved straight into an employed role, and I think that just solidified how much I didn't want to sit in an office for the rest of my life. And I needed some sort of creative outlet. So that was that. And I also had a keen interest in like content creation, photography, just anything creative, really. I used to stream on Twitch, which not many people know about. Really random.
I think you're the first girl I've actually met to say that she's a streamer on Twitch.
I don't do it anymore.
So when you were streaming, what was like your content, or what would you be doing?
If I take a guess, what I did.
Makeup?
No.
Hair?
No.
Don't say gaming.
Yeah.
Gaming?
So I used to play chess.
This is getting so interesting. I was not expecting you to say any of this.
And Minecraft, I loved. I used to play this game called Life is Strange. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like a story game. So I also had a YouTube channel. A singing YouTube channel.
Oh, so you can sing?
A little bit.
Love that.
So I've dabbled in everything creative, really.
You know, professional chess player, Minecraft player.
So I've always been interested in the content side, and when I was at university for my undergrad, I worked a little bit in the social media team for the university as well. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I knew that I wanted to do something to do with social media, influencer, content creation. So a couple of years ago, I came across a TikTok online, and it was a content studio in Australia, and it was a girl that worked there, and she did a day in the life of her job at the content studio. And I was just thinking, what a good idea that was. And I've never, as you can probably tell, I flip between different things in the creative side. So I wanted to commit my time to something where I didn't have to give up my career as well, because we were speaking earlier about it, but I do want a career alongside my creative outlet as well. So that's when I thought of the idea.
Do you know what? I like that you've actually admitted that, because a lot of people, I feel like it's pushed these days where whatever you're doing, if you don't make it your full-time job, then it's like but it's really nice to actually hear you say that you still really like your career and you do want your career.
Exactly. Every time I tell someone that I have my own business, to say, oh, so are you thinking about, quitting your job or giving it up? But no, I don't want to. That's where that's sorry, I've gone off track. I don't know.
No, it's all right.
So back to the studio. So obviously I was finding, it took me a while to find a good space to have the studio. And my dad's a roofer, and he does a lot of roofs in Leicester. He's got his own business now. And he knew a guy that owned a business that had a spare room. So I went and viewed it after viewing quite a lot more, but they were all just not good lighting, and I wanted it to be perfect. And this place was perfect, and that's obviously where I've got my studio
the lighting
now.
Looks really, really good at the studio.
So it's a beautiful space. But that's that.
So I know that you've just literally told me what it is that you do career-wise. So do you want to tell the girls, obviously, what it is that you do?
So I work for RICS, which is the Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors. So I don't know if a lot of people know what
Do you know
that
what's
is,
really
but-
popping into my head now that you've said
Yeah.
it? It's Ricks, isn't it? That's what it, when you've just said it like that,
So,
I was like, I don't know what that
yeah,
means, but it's
some
just
people
Ricks.
say RICS, some people say
Ricks,
Ricks.
yeah.
I don't know the correct way.
I don't
think
know,
people
but I've
say
just
both,
known it
to
as
be honest,
Ricks,
but
yeah.
Yeah, so I work in the early careers team there, which is another one of my passions. So
Yeah.
that's another reason why I don't want to give up my career. So when I was doing my undergrad degree, I did a placement year and I worked for the student recruitment team at the University of Bath. And the University of Bath is known for not being very diverse.
Okay.
So I was the first in family to go to university.
Mm-hmm.
I was also classed as like a disabled student.
Okay.
So I fit like a certain demographic there. But I felt quite out of place at university because a lot of people have been to independent school. And there wasn't many people that I could relate to in that sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can tell, but I've not really got a Leicester accent anymore. That slowly faded away.
Yeah, well,
So
that's why I think we both asked you, like, are you from Leicester? I just assumed that you were from Leicester because the content studio was in Leicester.
When I started university, I got ridiculed for my accent. Like, I just have a really strong Leicester accent, and it was just not acceptable when I was at university. But yeah, so during my time working in student recruitment, I worked in widening access as well for university students. So looking at
I feel like you've done everything.
Literally, I feel like I've lived like 15 lives. But yeah, so I then went on to write my dissertation about the impacts that COVID-19 had on widening access outreach activity in schools, colleges. Because a lot of those children that were in, like from working class families, like didn't have access to internet, they couldn't join sessions online when COVID was going on. I feel like they were just left out quite a lot, so that's why I wanted to do my dissertation on it. But yeah, so that's one of my passions, and obviously what I do now, I speak to young people about their career choices, visit schools, colleges, and surveying is a good career. I don't know if you know a lot about it, but there's a massive skills gap at the moment, so yeah.
No, that's really cool. So day to day, is it more just you going out to schools, like arranging the meets, meeting children? Is that kind of what you do day to day?
So sometimes it will be me that goes out, or we have like ambassadors that are current members of RICS that visit schools, colleges, and deliver workshops basically about a career in surveying, or I give career guidance to people that are looking for work experience and things like that.
No, that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So I know you've spoke a little bit about obviously you on Twitch and stuff like that, but let's say outside of career, like who are you? What do you get up to? What do you enjoy?
Yeah. So at the moment I feel like I just constantly work, to be honest. But,
Yeah.
I really enjoy singing, like I said earlier. I love a good book. I don't really like going out that much. That's why when you ask me about Leicester City, I'm like, yeah, I don't really go to town that much. Love spending time with my friends. Yeah, just...
It's normal girly stuff.
Normal girly stuff.
Do you know what? I think it's so cool because I see, obviously I think I followed Ivory Nest even before asking you to come on the podcast. But I think when you are like a content studio owner, you've just got to be a girly girl because you interact with that many different girls and content and stuff like that every day. And it's so nice to see obviously the space that you've created. I have looked at a lot of different content studios. I'm kind of a bit nervous, but I'm going to be planning like a little photo shoot or something.
Okay.
And I'm going to be doing it at Ivory Nest, just trying to figure out dates and stuff. But it's so nice to see, and you see the girls like go and do their content there and stuff like that.
Honestly, all the girls are so lovely as well. I feel like influencers and content creators are some of the nicest people I've met,
So
to be honest.
So what do you think about that then? Because do you know sometimes like, or you've got those friends and you're like, oh, can you take my pictures? And they're like, oh, roll their eyes or no. But then like when you get the girls that understand it, they're like, yeah, of course I'll take your pictures. Like I love those kind of girls.
Yeah.
So in terms of like the whole influencer world, obviously you get to meet a lot of influencers on a daily basis. What's kind of like your vibe or your like feelings towards the like influencer industry?
Yeah, I think they're great.
Yeah.
And a lot of them do take a lot of pride in what they do, because obviously it's a really difficult job. Like I have tried it and I can't do it.
Oh really?
Like you have to dedicate so much time to constantly be posting, like thinking about what your audience wants. Like, thinking about just so many things, like what time to post and what's going to look good. And obviously you need to think about what the brand wants if they're paying you to post a certain product or whatever. So yeah, the girls are super hardworking, and a lot of the time they have full-time jobs as well.
Yeah,
like we do. But yeah, I think they're great. And
I love that.
I have a girl that uses the studio. I don't know if you've seen her on my stories or on my page, Creations by Chloe K.
Yeah, I have.
And she is just amazing. She literally does everything. Like, she's in pharmaceuticals.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's got this business, and her days are amazing. And that's where I meet the most influencers. And it's such a wholesome day. Like you say, they're all taking photos of each other.
So I had a look at that, but I didn't really fully understand what it is. So maybe is now the time to explain. So I know that you have like an influencer kind of day. And is that where you just meet with like loads of random people and you just take your content, or is it like you kind of know each other and then you go take your content?
Yeah, so I sort the logistics of the day in terms of setting up the studio, but Chloe plans it all. So she has influencers or aspiring influencers that apply for the day. Okay. And then she has businesses, brands that reach out to her that want to promote their brands on the day with the influencers. Got you. So it's kind of like a transactional thing. That. And then she has hairstylists, makeup artists on the day as well that then get to promote themselves by doing the influencers' hair, makeup. So it's kind of like everyone
a win-win.
benefits.
Yeah, I love that. That's actually really, really clever.
Yeah, it's super smart.
I like that. But yeah, I did see you also had your first Women in Business event. Was it last week?
Last Friday.
Yeah. So how was that?
It was incredible.
It looked incredible.
Yeah. I think all the stress was definitely worth it. And I don't know, everyone was so lovely, and everyone was coming up to me and saying, it's really well organised. I was like, oh, thank you, because I wasn't feeling it was that organised at the beginning. But yeah, it was great. We had some really amazing speakers from all different industries. It was really varied. So we had someone, Flo and Thrive. She has a business that talks about living with your menstrual cycle and cyclical living. One of the ladies, she has a Pilates Flow. I don't know if you've heard of it, but she's like a motherhood and movement mentor, and she was talking about postpartum psychosis, which was really interesting and super inspiring. And then we had the Growth Chain, who she has an OBE, which I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I didn't introduce you. But yeah, she spoke about when you should employ your first employee and like how to go about it. So yeah, it was really interesting. And then there was a couple of stalls there as well. So yeah, it was. And then
you did your own talk as well, didn't you?
No,
you didn't. Oh, I thought I see clips where you was having a talk, but maybe that was.
I introduced the evening, give thanks and stuff. But I think at my next one, so the next one's on the 10th of January.
Okay.
I'll definitely give a talk there and speak about my own story, and yeah, it builds some confidence.
No, that would be really, really nice. And did you get like a really good turnout of girls come down?
Super good. So it was a sold out event, and
love that,
because there's not a lot in Leicester. I don't think there's hard, because I was looking online before on like Eventbrite and seeing what was about, but there wasn't many. Yeah. So I think it's definitely a good platform, and if people want to come, and even if you don't have a business and you're thinking about starting a business, and you can still come and chat.
I love that, because I get quite a lot of people message me about that, because I do it's a free networking event. We have it at the Exchange once a month. From January it's going to be once every 2 months, and I get more people that want to start in business rather than in business. But yeah, Leicester actually hasn't really got a community like that at all, and I find it so weird. Every other city, because one of my friends has got like a really big girls community. I think she's got like 7,000 girls within her community and stuff, and all of her events are sold out, and that's in Manchester. And she's like, Aalimah, you need to do Leicester. But I definitely feel like your event, it was lovely, like just the aesthetics of it, and the fact that you had it at the studio, like it looked really, really, really nice.
Yeah, well, if you want to do
I'm going to come to the January one.
I feel lucky though, because I've got the space to do
it. Yeah.
Yeah, obviously you're more than welcome to do a talk if you wanted to do the next
one. I don't know about that, but we'll see. But yeah, I'll definitely come along to the next one. In my mind, your one, I did actually put it on my calendar, but I thought it was at the end of September. I didn't know that it was in the middle of September. But yeah, no, perfect. So I know that we spoke a bit about your kind of studio at the minute. I don't know if you do know or if you don't know, but like, what are your plans for Ivory Nest?
Yeah, so I have a lot planned. I've just spent a lot of money on something.
Okay.
But it's meant to be delivered this week.
Yeah.
So obviously I'll post that on social when it's ready.
Yeah.
But I was speaking before this, saying that, or someone else was saying that it's so important to keep refreshing the business. Like, you've got to keep looking out of what's trending, what's going to do well. You can't like become complacent. So I want to like, everything that I earn at the moment goes back in to the business. I haven't actually really earned a profit yet, because I just put it straight back in, which I think you should do in your first year. Yeah, at least it's so important. But yeah, a lot planned for the future.
I like that. I like the idea of refreshing sets, because I think there's some content studios that I've seen where for the whole time that they've been open, I feel like it's just the same thing. And I feel like when you have a few maybe in your city, then you'll just see like the same pictures or the same this. And I feel like as a content creator, you want something that's a little bit different. So definitely refreshing that. I think that's really, really cool.
And you've got to switch it up for the seasons as well. I've just ordered all my
it's
Christmas
like
stuff.
fall
So
and
I'm really excited.
Christmas.
To get that set up and all the Halloween stuff. So yeah, I agree.
That's wicked. In terms of like setting it up, I think I've watched one of your videos and it was actually yourself that did like majority of the work in the studio. How was that?
It was really difficult.
Was it?
I remember like the day before opening, it was like the day before the opening event, I just literally broke down and cried because there was so much to do still. And it was me and my dad literally did the whole thing. Like, it used to be an old workshop. Yeah. And I'm really lucky my dad is super handy and he's super helpful. And he spent a lot of time like away from his own business to help me. I was there like mornings, nights, just setting everything up, painting. I have so many DIY skills now. It's insane. I feel like I could renovate a whole house. Like the plumbing had to be done. We had to rip out the whole bathroom. I think you see the video of me like stripping the bathroom floor. I have. Yeah, it was just not a good time. It was like exciting, but it was so difficult, like more difficult than I anticipated.
Like labour intensive every day. I can imagine like every day after work you was probably going there just to put a few hours in.
Yeah, absolutely. And the money it takes as well. Like, were you expecting it to cost as much as it did? It cost more than I thought.
You planned, yeah.
But I did save up quite a lot.
Yeah.
Like when I was, every year at uni I had like 3 jobs saving money.
I love that.
And then when I came out, I like obviously went straight into employment. I was just saving money. So instead of putting it on a house, I put it into a business.
Love that. I did exactly the same thing, so I love that.
Because you've got to invest your money at the end of the day. Like, you're never going to grow if you don't invest. So yeah, it was very difficult, but
it'll flow back to you.
It looks great. And it's
do you know what? My favourite, look at me speaking like I've even been there. This is just how good probably your content is that you can see. My favourite thing that you've created is like, it's a wall and one side it's panelling and the other side it's something else, but it actually moves. I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah, me and my dad built that.
Really?
So something like that would literally
like the fact that it's on wheels and everything. You did all of that.
We built that from scratch.
Wow.
We got the wood in. It's made from like MDF boards. Like, we put the wheels on the bottom, which was super hard because it's so heavy. So me and my dad were in there like trying to lift this. We got the wheels on, then we had to lift it up to actually get it on the floor. Yeah. But something like that would cost
a few thousand.
$3,000 at least. And we built that from scratch.
I love that though.
Yeah, so yeah, but it's a really cool, and like you say, it can be moved around. I think I'm going to change up one of the backdrops because a lot of people don't use the panelled wall for some reason. It's not very popular, so I'm going to change that up. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to have a good stalk later, I feel like, on Instagram and just see what's what. But no, when I seen that, I thought, that's actually a really clever idea. Love that.
Super clever.
Love that. Who would you say has been, I don't know, maybe the like most interesting person that you've had like book the studio, would you say, or influencer-wise?
So I've got a funny story, actually.
Okay.
So I had a girl that booked my photography package. So I'm not there on that day because my photographer
booked your photography package.
Yeah, so I've got a photographer, Amanda, RW Media, who has a package with the studio so people can easily find a photographer if they need one. So a girl had booked it for not an engagement shoot, it was a wedding anniversary shoot.
Yeah. I don't know whether this is going to be a good story or a bad story.
No, it's a good story. So my Amanda let them in, like did the photo shoot, went super well, and then like 2 months after, she posted a story like, oh, you know, did this amazing shoot. This photos turned out beautiful. She tagged me. I reshared it onto my stories, Ivy Nest Studios.
Yeah.
And then my friend who works at Leicester City Football Club, messaged me like, oh, look at you, like big baller clients, and I was like, what do you mean, like? Who is it? I don't know.
You didn't even know who it was? Oh,
and
my God.
It was Alfred and Dee. I don't know if you know Alfred and Dee.
No.
I don't know if I'm saying... I think it's Alfred. Yeah, Alfred and Dee. He's a Leicester City football player anyway.
Oh, really?
So, like, oh, my gosh, I didn't know that. And then I messaged my photographer, Amanda, saying, do you know that's the Leicester City football player? And she was like, oh, my gosh, no way. Like, I had no idea.
Oh.
She asked him if he was living in Leicester, if he was from Leicester. Yeah, so I had no idea.
Because you just don't know if you don't know.
No, like I'm not a massive football fan, so
neither am I, to be fair.
I literally had no idea, like no clue.
I love that.
Whatsoever.
But no, it's really cool. Yeah. I'm sure that there's going to be like more. I think Leicester's really big for influencers, to be fair. I think a lot of people think that Leicester's a bit underrated, but there is quite a lot of like up and coming influencers, I'd say.
There's a lot in Leicester.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I feel like Leicester's neglected.
Nesta? You got Ivy Nest on. You mind?
On my mind. Leicester's neglected, but obviously it's like the centre of England, so it's so easy for people to travel from all around like England. So like people on the content days, they travel from like Scotland, Manchester, like all different areas of England, because it's like the central point.
Yeah,
I feel like people are missing a trick with not having more things in Leicester. So yeah, it's definitely, it's not going to die out, is it, the content industry?
No, I don't think so. It's just going to get bigger. I think the industry of content creation is just going to get...
It's going to get bigger.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I also wanted to ask you, just popped into my head then, I know you mentioned about you obviously trying the whole influencer thing. Yeah. What happened with that, or like, how was it going, or... Because I've had a look at your content. When I messaged you on Instagram, I had a look, and your content is good. Yeah,
it's okay, but I just get like quite shy.
Okay.
And I feel like what I was saying before with my career, like I don't. It's a bit of an iffy topic. Like if you post more and share a lot about your life, then I don't know. I get kind of worried that in like the corporate setting, it's not going to be accepted, which is sad.
No, I completely understand.
But yeah, I just don't like the idea of like people from work knowing a lot about my life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I 100% feel like that. On my last podcast episode, actually, I'm a bit scared, to be fair, because when I watched it back, I was basically saying that my manager can like fuck off. Essentially. Yeah. And I sat there and thought, I pray to God that I don't think anyone from work has actually watched my podcast, but you know, like that one episode, like, someone's going to catch it, and I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. But no, 100%, I can completely agree with you on that. But then on the other side of it, sometimes I'm like, but if it's like your dream and you want to do it,
it's just such, I feel like quite torn a lot of the time.
Is it something that you would say you still kind of want, or you just half and half?
Absolutely. But again, I think it's like the time aspect as well, like the amount of time that you have to put in. Obviously, having the Ivy Nest is a full-time job in itself. Like that account, I have to be posting every day. Like I have to plan my content. Like I have to be there recording the content and constantly pushing it. So I feel like that I wouldn't have the time to then do something else. I don't know. It's difficult. But yeah, I think most of it is like, I don't know, being scared that people aren't going to accept you if you start doing that. Like I did a TikTok the other day. It was like day in the life in the office, and I thought, oh, what if I've accidentally shown like something that I'm not meant to in the office? Or people know what the office looks like. Like I'm a bit of an overthinker, so yeah, that's the main reason. But I still would consider it.
I think you make a really, really good influencer. I do. I can see it for yourself as well. No, because obviously you're around it all the time. Aesthetically, like you look like an influencer. Your content does look like an influencer's content as well. So I just think, why not? But I completely understand what you mean, especially how you've mentioned that you love your career. Like I can imagine that's a bit hard to kind of navigate.
I work with children sometimes as well. Like that's another thing.
You want to look professional when it comes to children and what you put out there.
And you can't, like, you have to make sure that those young people can't like find you easily. So it's really difficult.
Yeah.
It's really difficult.
No, I can imagine. So When it comes to yourself then, how old are you?
25.
Are you?
Yeah.
I thought so. I was
Yeah.
like 24, 25.
Yeah, 25.
So when it comes to yourself, I know that you have mentioned like your career, you want to go for that and then have the content studio. Is there anything else that you've ever thought about or that you'd want to do?
So I don't know how work's going to take this. So I actually was
Forget
thinking
work. Work are not. This is just for the girls. Work are not here right now.
Yeah. So no, what it is kind of relatable to work. So
Oh, okay.
I was actually thinking about going into real estate myself. So like becoming a surveyor, maybe a property surveyor.
Yeah.
Because it's so interesting, and like I've been going to a lot of networking events, and I've got one tomorrow actually, a women in property event. So yeah, and obviously that's my job, is I promote jobs in surveying. Obviously I've done a good job.
Yeah.
I've convinced myself.
So for you to get
like
into surveying and be a surveyor, would you need to go and do obviously the course or?
Yeah, so it's a difficult one because I've already got a master's degree and an undergrad, so I'd have to do I'd want to do a level 7 apprenticeship.
Okay.
Which is a master's level apprenticeship in surveying.
Okay.
Or I could do like the experience route, but not a lot of places take you on as trainees, I don't think, anymore. So it's difficult. But I've got a graduate role that I've seen that I'm going to apply for. So yeah, fingers crossed. I feel like I'm one of those people that can't decide what I want to do.
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
So many things and you've only got one life. Like I want to try everything and then find something that I really love.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't want to like waste my time. Obviously I love Ivy Nest Studios, but
yeah. Do you know what? I'm so here for that because I feel like that's something that a lot of girls our age will actually feel. So I'm 24, I'm not 25, I'm 24. But sometimes I feel like I want to do this, I want to do that. And then you're like, how do you do it all? Like, I'm one person, I can't do it all.
Exactly.
But surveyor, love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, and I feel like you don't have to decide like solidly what you want to do in your 20s. Like you've got so much time still left to decide. Like there's actually, you don't really need to put that much pressure on yourself. Like when I speak to some people, like our ambassadors that we have at RICS, like they had a career change when they were like 35 and did a completely untraditional route into what they actually wanted to go into. So yeah, it doesn't really matter what age you decide and find your dream career. Just keep trying things until you find the right one.
No, definitely. I really think that is like a really good thing to say.
Yeah.
And yeah, I definitely agree. I could see you as a surveyor as well, and that's a market, like obviously depend on the property, but that's something that's never going to die out. And also the different market that you can go into, you can go into like normal kind of standard, or you can go into like high or luxury or whatever it is, or even commercial properties, or you know,
commercial, because there's 22 different pathways. You've got like mineral surveyor, land surveyor, quantity surveyor, building surveyor. There's so many different things. Yeah, I think real estate would be where I'd want to go into.
I love that for you. Love that for you. So apart from, obviously I know you've mentioned some of the like the cool story, like the footballer, has there ever been an experience since owning Ivy Nest where you're like, I've had a shit day, or this is just not for me, or you've had like someone book in and it's just gone really bad? Like, have you had many experiences like that?
Not many. Like I say, everyone's super lovely. Obviously there's some things that happen like by accident that's completely not people's fault, but it always happens at the worst time.
Okay.
So I'll tell one story. She's super lovely, the girl that uses it, and she uses it quite a lot, the studio.
Yeah.
But one time she accidentally broke the big mirror in the studio. And I was like, oh my gosh. But she admitted it, and that's obviously absolutely fine. But I was at my cousin's baby shower at the time, and it was a Saturday like afternoon, and I had Chloe's
multiple bookings afterwards.
Yeah. So afterwards I had Chloe's big content day, and they love the mirror. Like obviously you've got to have a big mirror for one of those days. So I was stressing out like, oh my gosh, I don't know where I'm going to get this big mirror from, like the day before the shoot. But luckily my dad has a big van. We nipped off to the range, got a new one and replaced it. And she was super lovely. Like she was like, oh, I'll take my deposit, it's fine. So it resolved itself. But you just have little things like that. But nothing major. Like obviously it's only 9 months old at the moment, so nothing major has happened.
That's
really,
good. I bet your heart dropped when that happened.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
It's nice that it was only from the range though, that you can go and pick one up locally.
Yeah, well, so my dad's got like a Ford Ranger. I don't know if you know what they look like, but it's only got like a little, I don't know what it's called, you know, the hatchback on the back. But the mirror kind
like
of
a truck kind of
like
thing.
A truck.
Yeah.
It doesn't close, it's like open. So the mirror on the back was like flapping up and down.
Oh, okay, yeah.
On the way from the range to the studio, and I was driving behind, like making sure it didn't fly off or something. But luckily it was resolved, and that was fine.
Oh, that's good. That's
just
good.
The odd breakage is like the most major thing that's happened.
That's good.
Yeah.
So on a weekly basis then, I know that you work full time. Is that 40 hours a week?
35.
35, that's
Yeah,
not,
so
well, I say that's not bad, it's
great.
only 5 hours difference, isn't it? Like, oh, lovely. How much time would you say that you dedicate to your business alongside obviously having your 9 to 5?
Yeah, a lot.
A lot?
My partner's constantly at me, like, you need to have a cut-off point, like, you're always on your phone, like, but I have to be, because it's just me that runs it, and obviously in the day I'm working, and then I have to dedicate that time afterwards, otherwise things aren't going to get done. And I feel like I put so much effort into making the studio and like literal blood, sweat and tears that I have to make it work.
Yeah,
like it
of course.
To do well. So yeah, I put a lot of time in. I finish work at like 4, and then I go on to work. It's mostly social media. Like it consumes.
I think
my
I
life.
really underestimated like
It's
content and socials. Like I thought it was. I don't know. Did I underestimate it? I don't know. But do you know, just because I've got different accounts as well, I think that's what gets me. Just as you get one that's all like done and sorted, then I remember this or remember that or remember LinkedIn, and I'm like, I don't know. I just find it hard to.
There's so many different platforms as well, and they're all so different. Like things that work on Instagram just don't work on TikTok.
Yeah.
But then it's like having the capacity to sit down and think about strategies and what's going to work on what platform, what's going to work on this, and it's a full-time job, so too much time.
Have you got anyone within Ivory Nest? So do you know, like if someone wanted to be an influencer or content creator, obviously they'd come to your studio, but have you got like a collab with anyone where it's like a social media agency that could like help some of the...
I don't.
You don't?
Actually, it is something I'd consider as well, like passing the social media side on, because that's what takes up most of my time. So yeah, hopefully in a few months, because it's like major.
Not just saying for yourself, I'm saying for like anyone that obviously wanted to come to the studio. Is that like something that? Because I know you do obviously the photography, but it just popped into my mind.
Yeah. Because I know a lot of like social media agencies. One of my favourites, I don't know if it's social media, like a branding company, but they're the Brandology. I don't know if you've heard of them.
No.
But they use my studio the
other
week.
Do they?
I was like, oh, I'm so excited. Yeah, they're really good. And then you've got Social Moody.
Okay, yeah.
I've considered using them. Yeah, definitely. It's like outsource.
Yeah.
That side of things. I have like a cleaner, but that's it so far. But I definitely do want to employ people like in the future.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's something that you want to have that's like hands off.
Yeah, because like I said, like I don't want to give up my career, so I want that to work on its own eventually, but obviously still have me like overseeing like the major.
Yeah, no, that would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool, yeah. So, when it comes to, let's say, starting your business and kind of setting everything up, what kind of advice would you give to someone that is looking to, obviously, it doesn't have to be setting up a content studio, because I know that that's not everyone's, you know, but what would you kind of say that you've learned or advice that you would give from your own journey?
Yeah, so I'd say don't rush into it.
Okay.
I did a lot of research. Like I had, I made a business plan, like that was really in depth, like did as much planning of my finances as possible, but obviously things sometimes cost more than you expect to. But yeah, I'd definitely get a business mentor and maybe apply for like a young entrepreneur business loan, for example, because a lot of them come with a business mentor as well. And I think that would just be really useful to give you like that inside of business knowledge, especially if like this is your first time setting up a business. There's a lot like that you don't think about, like taxes and accounts and things like that. So yeah, definitely just don't rush into it. Plan as much as possible and get a business mentor. and apply for a young entrepreneur
So
loan.
did you get a business mentor when you first started, or did you have one prior to starting?
No, I didn't have one.
Oh, okay.
But I wish I did.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I did. I might still get one.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
haven't got one now?
No,
Okay.
no. Yeah, but I definitely would
Get
consider
one.
having one for sure. 'Cause, like, so the growth chain, her name's Sneha, she who did the talk at the Women in Business event.
Yeah.
She's incredible, so I might even ask her.
Yeah.
And get on her box. But yeah, that's the main advice I'd say.
No, definitely. I think it's hard, like someone like yourself as well saying you haven't yet got one, but you know it would help, stuff like that. So I did get a business mentor.
Oh, okay.
And I think it went really well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd say the past few months I kind of like fell off a little bit, but I think now just getting back in track. But I'm trying to find one that, it's hard to find the right business mentor, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like,
and
I
someone
think,
who understands like the industry that you
yeah,
want to go into. I think that's the main reason I didn't get one, because first of all, it was taking way too long to like apply and find the right person.
yeah,
Whereas I felt like I needed to do it now, so I just went ahead and did it. And to be honest, it has gone pretty well.
no, it's gone amazing,
But
for
you can
sure.
always
It's
do with,
beautiful.
like someone else's opinion and someone else's advice. Like, you don't want to be in like a silo and like an echo chamber, if that's what you say. So yeah, I think it's good to have one. What happened with yours?
To be fair, they still are my mentor.
Oh, okay.
I just don't use it as much as possible.
Right.
Like, I paid for it and
Mhm.
everything, but I think I just fell off. And I think the stuff that I originally wanted, I don't think I want anymore. So I don't know if it's still
Yeah,
relevant, because I feel
still
like I've changed since then a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think sometimes it's just about finding the right mentor, because I think these days on social media, like, everyone is putting it down to, you know, be your mentor, be your mentor.
There's so many mentors.
And I think it's like, just do your research on the person as well, like, if you are
Mhm.
going to let them be your mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also wanted to ask, do you know when you have been like planning your sets and stuff like that, because I want to get into interior design, what was the process for that? Did you make like a mood board, or like
Yes,
you did
yeah.
per set, or was it like
Per
just
set.
per set? Did you?
Yeah,
I bet that was
I love
so much
interior
fun.
design as well. And it was so much fun. I feel like, 'cause obviously the money that I saved up, I'd put into the studio, not a house. So everything that I wanted to do with a house, I've done
You
with
did
the
with studio. I love that.
Yeah. So yeah, Pinterest. I absolutely love Pinterest.
Love Pinterest.
Love Notion. That was like where I created my business
Oh
plan
my
and stuff.
god, I've completely forgot about that. Carry on.
Do you know when you say like you think I've done everything? That's
Do you know what? Honestly, this girl, I swear to God. So, guys, obviously, I'd already asked Mackyla to come on the podcast, and then I originally followed Ivy Nest, which is her content studio, and then once I followed her, I seen that you've got a whole Notion business as well. And you know what? I love the Notion girlies, because I have been trying to figure that shit out for about 3 years now, and I still can't. And then when I seen you, I was like,
Oh my gosh,
you're such a cool girl. She knows Notion.
Yeah. It's such a cool platform though. I don't know, do you buy like templates?
I have.
Stuff
So
like
the one that I've got is the Grace Beverly, the
Oh,
productivity
okay.
method.
Love
That's
Grace
the one that I
Beverly.
know. I know. That's the one that I've got,
I
because I,
didn't
had
even
a
know she had a
planner.
Notion.
I didn't until I
Yeah.
I've always just, I prefer paper like planners and stuff. I'm someone
Mhm.
that likes writing. But I just feel like sometimes I brain dump
Yeah.
that much, and it can't help me plan in advance, so that's why I ended up getting
Yeah.
that. But like content and stuff, there was this free Notion guide that I downloaded from someone on YouTube, and I've got like a YouTube section and an Instagram section that I've not used, by the way, for like a year. But yeah, I don't know, I just can't figure it out. Like,
It's a difficult platform, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like all the toggles and like the like coding that you have to do.
how long did that take you to set up and like understand and learn?
Not that long, to be honest.
Really?
I feel like I can get to grips with something quite quickly. But yeah, not that long. I've got only two templates, because I feel
Okay.
like I'm doing too much.
But still,
But still
you
two
know,
templates.
yeah,
But I just adapted my one that I made for myself,
yeah,
and then made a separate that like duplicated it and then sold it on Etsy.
yeah.
And then I made like a girls trip planner as well, where
Love
you can
that.
like plan your outfits at each day, and like there's an itinerary on there and stuff like that. So it can be used for so many different things. That's why I love it so much.
And also that really ties into the content studio,
Yeah.
content creation.
Yeah, so like I've got a Notion like toggle for Ivory Nest, and that's where I've literally planned everything from like the business plan, like all the sets. So I went on Pinterest, like saved all the ideas from Pinterest onto Notion, so it's all saved in one place. But yeah, love Notion.
I love a calculated girl. Honestly, anyone, like, Notion is like witchcraft, guys. I'm not even being serious. Everyone literally messages like, if you know how to use Notion, you've got your life together. And that's that. And I still haven't got my life together because I just can't figure it out, Mackyla. The amount, I swear to God, I've watched at least 100 YouTube videos on how to use it, how to this, how to that. And then I just get so confused and I just leave it.
What do you want to use it for?
Number one, content creation. So I have an accountability partner and she uses Notion. So we've got like a shared, I don't know what the correct word for it is, but shared notebook, workbook, whatever it is, where we'll put like our monthly goals, yearly goals, and then she's like made it look all pretty and stuff. So I use it on a regular for that. The social media I did want to use it for, but I think just more business planning. But then that's why I was like, I've just bought the productivity method because I can't be bothered to do it myself. So
that's fine. Like, if you need to use a template, I mean, that's what I'm selling. So I'm relying on people like you that don't know how to use it.
No, do you know what? Honestly, it's a really big market because there's so many people that just want to get organised that don't know how to. And I think Notion is actually a really, really good tool. Like, I feel like it's very underrated.
And it's not that expensive. Like, obviously it's free to use at the beginning, and then if you use it a lot like me, like, you have to buy the bigger package. But yeah, it's a great platform just to get everything organised. Like, my template's called what, I've had a mind blank. What's it called? It's called, no, the Etsy shop's called That Girl's Organised.
Yeah.
The ultimate That Girl dashboard.
Okay.
That's what it's called.
There we go.
So it's got lots of different, I got there in the end. So it's got like lots of different sections, like wardrobe, food planning, like daily journal, like to-do lists, calendars, the lot.
So are you someone that has like a really good routine?
Yeah. I try to stick to my routine. Like, I like planning a routine and then not sticking to it.
I love that's such a girly thing to do because I do that as well. Like, I'll plan my day or I'll plan to do this and then it just
completely derails.
Yeah, and then it just never happens.
But
I know I interrupted you there because you mentioned Notion and then my brain just started to ping off. But before you was actually speaking about planning like the sets and stuff. So you were saying that you use Notion for it. But talk to me a little bit about like the process or like you buying and stuff like that.
So what I did was use Pinterest first of all. So I had like a few different sets in mind already. So then I just searched keywords like neutral living room or like, I don't know, moody backdrops or things like that. And then on Google you can do like picture searches. Okay. So then I'd find something on Pinterest, put it into picture search and then see what comes up. And then I'd just buy the furniture and what looked nice and put it together in the studio. Yeah.
What would you say then? Because I know that there's quite a lot of people, like everyone wants to make everything aesthetic and look nice. And sometimes I feel like with Ivory Nest, it's nice, but sometimes I feel like we as girls, we try to do too much and then it just overcrowds it all. But I feel like Ivory Nest is the nice, like, combination of that. There's not too much going on. No, there's not.
I feel like I put a lot of stuff in there.
No, I think it's a nice combination. There's not too much going on. It's just nice and aesthetic. So what would you say, like, to create an aesthetic space or, you know, for content creation, what would you say, like, you would need or kind of tips or anything? I've got you now.
I don't know. It depends what kind of content you want to create, really.
Okay.
Like, what fits your vibe. So, like, in the studio, we've got, like, a neutral set. If you, like, a cozy kind of vibe, then that's the backdrop that you'd probably choose. I don't know, like you say, like, keeping it simple, not have too much going on, have, like, a colour palette and sticking to it. Yeah. So, say if you've, I don't know if you've seen that thing where you pick clothes that, like, suit your, like, features. Yeah. Like the autumn, spring, like winter colours. So, say if you've done that, I don't know if you've spoken to someone before, and you have like outfits that match a certain colour palette, then you'd pick a backdrop or an aesthetic backdrop that fits within your vibe and kind of try not to stray. Yeah. When people look at content creators' pages, they want to see like similar things all the time. They don't want to see too much that's different because they like you for a reason. Yeah.
So kind of like picking the niche and being like picking an aesthetic and stuff like that.
Yeah. Like sticking with it. Yeah.
So what would you say your aesthetic is?
I'd say neutral.
Yeah.
I love a good neutral.
I love
colour.
neutral.
I used to be a colourful girl, but I feel like it really didn't suit me, and I was just going down the wrong path. But definitely neutral. Neutrals.
I like that. I feel like I can't decide. I'm that person that is just doing
Switching
too
it up
much.
too much.
Yeah, just I need to stop. I need
like-
to become a neutral
Yeah.
babes, but just I don't know. Sometimes when I go on holiday, I just want to wear something bright, like bright blue,
well,
bright
absolutely,
orange.
like change it up with the seasons as well.
But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Today has been like a really cute but weird episode because I never thought that I would have you on the podcast and be speaking about like content creation. Like you literally just took me by surprise, and I think whenever I see you post in my mind, I'm just going to be like, you had a Twitch account and you were recording yourself doing chess. Like that's always going to be in my brain. But I just think it's really cool. Like I love people that do their own thing. Yeah. I've only recently learned how to play chess, and it's actually such an interesting game. Like I don't think people realise how intelligent you have to be.
It's such a good game.
It is a really good game.
And there's so many different ways to play it as well.
Yeah.
Like, I actually had chess lessons at one point.
Did you?
But it's worth it. Like it's such a good game.
Why are you so embarrassed about that?
I feel like it's a bit of a strange thing to do.
It's not.
But yeah, me and my partner play it all the time. We love it.
Yeah, and I think it is a very coupley thing, and it's really cute. So, what would you say has been like over the past, let's say, 9 months since starting your content studio? What has been like a pivotal moment or experience for you?
That's a good question. I don't know. I feel like because it's so new, I've not really had like that peak moment. But I think the Women in Business event, that was probably a peak moment. Like to see all of those people, like inspiring women in one space, and then having people come up to you and compliment like the studio and just say how nice of a time they're having, and like you're gonna do another one, like it's such a nice space, we're gonna book. Like it's so nice to like get feedback from people. And like I say, like when you put so much time and effort into something, it's just nice to get that feedback and know that like what you've created is actually
I bet that
good.
took a lot of planning as well, didn't it?
Yeah, a lot of planning. And I like ran that thing by myself. I had like a little bit of help from my mum to make the balloon arch in the morning, but
I love that you made it yourself as well. That's really, really cute.
I love making a balloon arch.
No, that's really, really nice. So over obviously the past 9 months, there's been times where you've got experiences like the Women in Business. I would say you sound like someone who's had a really positive experience so far. Like when I asked you the question before, like have there been like any weird or bad scenarios that you've been in, and you just the smash mirror, I think that is such like a blessed thing.
Minimal issue.
Like,
very grateful that nothing has gone majorly wrong. Touch wood. There's no wood in here. Is there wood? I don't know. But yeah, like really lucky, and I feel like I'm quite resilient as well. So if anything did happen, like I've already planned like money or eyes if something goes wrong, like to cover things. So yeah, I feel like I'd be able to
you've got that as
anyway,
like backup.
Just keep powering through if anything did happen.
I think it's just about your mindset though, isn't it? Like you all know that stuff's going to go wrong. You just got to accept it and try and get past it. If anything does go wrong, but hopefully it shouldn't. No, definitely. It sounds like you've had a really positive experience, and it's honestly such a beautiful studio. Like if anyone is thinking about creating content or anything like that, definitely check it out because it is really, really beautiful, girls.
Thank you.
But yeah, obviously we're coming to Christmas. I know that you've mentioned a few new sets. Have we got any secrets about like what's in store or kind of what you're planning?
So I am creating like a winter wonderland corner.
Oh.
So I'm going to have 2 or 3 like snow-tipped trees. I'm going to have like a bauble display like hanging from the ceiling. So yeah, it's going to be really pretty.
That sounds expensive. I can
but
imagine the
book.
Like,
I've had so many questions like, are you going to do a Christmas set? Are you going to like do seasonal things? So I think it'll be worth it.
No, for sure.
A few bookings already for Christmas, so I've got to commit and get it ready.
No, I love that baubles. I love. I know this is gonna sound weird, but the bigger ones. I just feel like they look so nice and classy and just really, really cute. So I keep on saying this whole episode. For yourself then, along your journey, like I know you've done probably about 100 different things. You're still going to do about 100 different things.
Yeah.
Like within yourself, do you feel like you've gone down the right path and setting up the studio was like right for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, like everything's about mindset as well. Like I don't regret anything that I've like started or done in the past, like even Twitch, like that opened my eyes to a whole different platform. And so I think it's definitely the right path, and hopefully it continues to do well. And maybe I'll open another, I don't know. Closer to maybe Birmingham or Solihull,
What's is there many content studios in Birmingham? I've never done research on it, but
I think there's like 3 or 4.
Okay.
Probably the same as Leicester, to be honest, but obviously it's a bit of a bigger city, isn't it? Yeah, but I'd probably do one in Solihull, closest to where I live, so because obviously at the moment I travel back and forth from Leicester to Birmingham, and it's a lot. Like that takes up a lot of my time.
So when did you move to Birmingham?
I've been there for about a year now.
Oh, okay. So did you move for like work or?
To move in with my partner.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So he's from Solihull, so I live in Solihull.
Nice.
Now, which is a lovely area.
It is nice. I think a few of my friends, because I used to work at Selfridges in Birmingham, and a few of my friends live near Solihull, I think. So yeah.
Where did you work in Selfridges?
Originally I worked on the top floor, women's clothing, and then I went down to the second floor, which is still women's. I don't know what it is now. It was like the designer denim studio.
Because she worked in Selfridges in Birmingham, but I know it's a big place.
Who's your friend?
Kirsty Johnson. She works in shoes though, so you might.
Got ginger hair?
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah,
I do. I don't know her like that, but I know of her
yeah.
or that she worked there, because I feel like the departments in Selfridges, like, they don't really like you mingle with whoever you work with in your. But I feel like some people you see and you're like, oh, they've got a cute outfit, or there. So yeah,
and she looks very unique. Like she's so beautiful.
With the ginger hair as well. You can't miss her, to be honest. But yeah, Solihull. How long? You've said that you lived there for a year now. How are you finding it living with your partner?
Yeah, fine.
That's good. That's nice to hear.
Like, obviously we get on really well, but like, I feel like when you're moving with someone, you really get to know them on a deeper level. So yeah, we don't like argue, bicker about anything. Like we've got our routines, and
that's nice.
Yeah, so yeah, everything's fine.
Can you see yourself living there for like a while?
Yeah, definitely. Like we'll definitely stay there for another 2 years or so.
That's nice.
But we're both like a little more reserved and don't really like city life that much, so we want to move like to the countryside.
No, that would be nice. I can see that. I think that would suit you. Yeah.
Like Cotswolds or something.
Yeah, really, really nice.
Yeah.
Lovely. So is there anything else that you would kind of like to share about yourself or about who you are?
Not really.
No?
Like, obviously there's a lot more I could say, but...
No, I'd just like to ask, because I think you're someone that has seemed like, obviously we've gone through everything.
Yeah.
But because you do that much different types of things, obviously it's nice to get to know someone, especially like this is my first time meeting you as well. Yeah. But yeah, if there was anything else like about yourself or something maybe other people would never guess about you or don't know.
I don't know. I mentioned it briefly earlier. So I have like a long-term health issue. Okay. That does like impact daily life. So
I did see you mention it, but I didn't know whether to like ask or not. No, that's why I didn't earlier.
It's such a common thing as well, but like not many people know too much about it, and they kind of like brush it off. So it's called hypothyroidism. I don't know if you know too much about it, but yeah, so I have that. And yeah, it's quite misunderstood. So if you have a chance, do some research.
Well, do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah. So
if you want to, of course.
Yeah. Well, it's not curable. So you live with it obviously for the whole of your life. Okay. And you have to take medicine every day for it. But it mostly makes you feel like really tired. So it's an autoimmune disease. Okay. So yeah, you're more vulnerable to like illness, especially if you're unmedicated and don't realise you have it. And it's really popular with women as well. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't realise they have it and live with it, but it can be quite dangerous. Like if you don't get medicated, then you can potentially go into a coma, and it can be quite serious. So yeah. So when did you find out that you've got that? I was in I was at college. So I went to QE. I don't know if it was called QE back in the day, but I think I went to QE. Did you?
Yeah, I went to QE. You're a year older than me. I went to QE. But I don't think I spoke to, like, I didn't really mingle.
I didn't really speak to many people.
No.
I'm quite, like, an innately shy person. I don't really talk to that many people. But, yeah, so I went to QE and I found out in my second year there that I was, like, falling asleep in class. Like, I actually genuinely couldn't stay awake.
Wow,
like,
okay.
I felt really rude. Like, I enjoyed what I was doing, but I fell asleep. Like, I fell asleep on the bus home. Like, I missed my stop. And I think, what is going on? Like, I'm 17. I shouldn't be
falling asleep like that.
And feeling like this.
Yeah.
And it affects, like, your hormones, your moods. Like, it can affect fertility, things like that. So, yeah, so I went, actually, it was Boxing Day, and I had a really bad nosebleed.
Okay.
And it would not stop.
Really?
Like, bad, like, I mean, this is a bit TMI, but it was like blood clots, like terrible, awful nosebleed. So I went to A&E, spent like the whole of Christmas, I keep saying Christmas Eve, Boxing Day there. And then the ENT doctor saw my neck was like a bit swollen at the bottom.
Okay.
And he was like, oh, I'm going to run some blood tests and just check your thyroid. And it turns out it was that. So obviously it was like progressing and just like an underlying illness basically that I had. So yeah. But obviously I'm medicated now and a lot better, but yeah, it's quite misunderstood because it's not properly treated in the UK.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a long story, but yeah.
And do you feel like, I know that you mentioned fatigue, so the medication that you're on now for it, does that kind of help with the fatigue, or is there still times where you feel like...
Times that I get like really tired, especially afternoons, you get really bad brain fog, like can't really think straight, if that makes sense. So yeah, it does affect some things, but it's quite misunderstood, like I say. Like, people think that once you're medicated that
you're fine,
everything
essentially.
goes away, but
yeah,
it doesn't, and it comes with a lot of underlying things like fertility issues and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a misunderstood
well,
thing.
thank you for sharing. When you mentioned it, I hope you don't think that I'm like passing that off when you said it or anything like that. I just didn't know whether to like press or mention it or anything like that. But yeah, thank you for sharing. I think it's nice just to, if you have or anything like that, just to share and let people be aware, because I think when someone like yourself does, and you're saying that obviously fatigue is something that you struggle with, just the fact that you have a full-time job, you do so much, the fact that you're running like your studio and stuff like that, I think it's nice because people will just assume that everything's fine with you and that you just get on life, and no one really understands what other people's struggles are or what they go through, that kind of thing. So it's nice that you have shared on the podcast, so thank you for that. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I think it's been a really, really nice session. Thank you for coming on today. And yeah, girls, make sure you check out Ivory Nest, because it is a really, really beautiful content studio. So if you do want to take some content, then definitely take it there. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, depending on what platform you're on. And yeah, bye girls. I'll see you on the next episode.